Okay, so Waffle and I are on day 3. We're just got out of our campsite. We're heading back to the trail. And we've got 10 or so miles. The weather is much better today. It dropped like 30 degrees, so it went from almost 90 to mid 50s, so it feels a lot better. This part we are very familiar with. This is for Cedar Breaks. So I'm looking forward to showing you a lot of the sites that I'm definitely familiar with. So stay tuned and let's see what Goodwater Loop has to offer. So Waffle and I normally start at Tejas Park, but we don't do a lot of camping. But BG and I used to come here to Cedar Breaks like Friday after work. And then we hike, 6 miles out to one of the dispersed campsites and then come back in the morning. And it was a great way to start a weekend. So it is fun to be back here and to show Waffle kind of what we used to do. If there's one thing about the Goodwater Loop that I want everyone to know, it's very rocky. So in January, I did a big bend trip, a big bend trip, and hiked 10 plus miles for 5 days straight. Some of them touching like 20 miles. It's very rocky there too, but after 2.5 days, I think my feet are in worse shape here just because of all this limestone. I don't know what it is, but just be aware if you bring yourself or your dog out here, you got to take care of your feet. All right, first side stop to go down to the lake for Waffle. He's pretty excited about this. This is one of the best overlooks of the lake in my opinion. There are a few more along this way. It is very low compared to what it has been in the past. taking a very short side trip. We're gonna go see the Crockett Garden Falls, and then once we check that out, we'll head back to the top of it and continue on, which is about 3 miles. That's one of the most popular like destinations on this trail. So this is Crockett Falls now. It collapsed after one of the hard springs and a lot of the trees died on top, so it looks very different from how it looked for the years and years that I came out here. It's also got all these paths that people cut through here now that didn't used to exist. You had to go around, and now they cut through and cut close to the lake and miss about a half mile of trail. So this is Cedar Hollow Camp. We made a quick side trip over here because you can get to the lake from there, and you know Waffle wanted to. It's about 5 miles in, so it does work great for Friday night, coming out and doing a quick camping trip and heading back. Or you can stay here the entire weekend. It's relatively close if you do want to do a little dispersed backpacking or camping, which dispersed sites are pretty rare in Texas, I think. I want to say that it used to be more maintained, and where all this prickly pear is growing, there used to be like additional like spots where you could put tents, but it looks down to only 1 or 2 sites now. Okay, we're on this little stock dam, or tank, and we're on the dam. I know Waffle wants to get down there. We'll see if there's a break in this thick brush for him. heading into Sawyer Hollow Dispersed Camping. This used to be my favorite, probably still is, of the Dispersed. It's about 6-7 miles in. It used to be very secluded, so you would never see any people out here. That has changed. It was pretty close to the lake, but it's receded a lot with all the drought. And at one point there were pit toilets, which was another nice draw. I guess the pit still exists, but the toilets and the structure are gone, so that's not something available to you anymore. Whew, the lake sure is low. At one point there was a flood, and we got previous videos, and the water was all the way up to like this area on the trail when we did it. But normally, I don't know if those are willows or cypress, but I'm pretty sure they should be a lot closer to the water than they are, and now they're just kind of out in the open. This area sure has changed. That pond back there used to be in a lot better shape, and there was some really big trees that would provide shade through here. Okay, we are getting close to the Tejas Park area, where the lake has kind of ended and it's now the river. We have to do these cliffs, and then we'll get down to the river. It's a spot that Waffle loves and knows well, so he's pretty excited to get there. We are finishing up the trail now. We've done 26 miles. We're almost back to the parking lot. It sure has changed it since the first time I've done this loop 10 years ago. It seems like a lot of the old large trees are dying. There's also a bunch of McMansions built up along the fence line around some of the areas, and the drought has really reduced a lot of the water. It's super beautiful still. I totally recommend it. It's going to be one of the only places in Central Texas that you can get a 26-mile backpacking loop in. So definitely go here if you get a chance. And if you want to see kind of what it looked like in the past, check out a couple of my videos, and I'll add them to a playlist. All right, so thanks for watching, and make sure you join us on our next adventure.